All right. There's been some discussion about whether we should legalize sex for young men who are um, out there who want to have sex. They can just pay for it, and they can, get it that way. And I disagree with legalizing sex or put it like this. You can legalize what you want. I don't think it's a good idea. Let me say it this way. I don't have no say one way or the other whether it gets legalized or not. I don't think it's a good idea to have young men walking into a place and paying for sex. You know what I mean? And just having sex that way. I think, how are they going to have sex, brother? That's something they're going to have to figure out. I mean, find a person who you feel you can trust and, be with that person and, make a commitment to that person, and then maybe sex will get involved. I mean, that's the thing. I think the safest and best way to have sex get involved. I think if you just, like you saying, hey, you just want to get your rocks off, maybe you should hold off on getting your rocks off. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know, man, if you look at the Roman society, if you look at the Greek society, when prostitution was, was not a thing of, that was looked down upon or by the major society, that's when those societies kind of went downhill, man, because they started accepting everything. Prostitution, pedophilia, bestiality. They just started accepting anything that would take away from them the responsibility of doing what God wanted you to do with a woman. God never wanted you to just have sex with women. God wants you to have responsibility. The woman was not the first choice to lead. She was not the first choice. She was here to help, but she can only help under the wisdom and guidance of a man that has his shit together. You can't lead a woman. You don't know what you're doing. You need to have leadership. And what's leadership? Leadership is having wisdom, having strength, having humility, having mercy, and being able to lead and not be a tyrant, because God is not a tyrant. And, so you trying to lead like that, you don't want to be a tyrant, but you just want to be able to lead, if you can, by examples, and if you can, try to lead. Because, see, what happens is let me just narrow it down to the black community. We're not leading by example. We're not even teaching we're not even teaching anymore. We're not even teaching where we say, I may be in this situation, son, but don't put yourself in this situation. Go this other way. We're not even doing that anymore. We out here trying to run a gun, bag and tag. And when the men of a community do not and will not accept the responsibility of manhood, which is leading who will follow, leading the people in your community, in your circle that will follow you, giving them good options to make, showing them the right way to go. When the men don't do that, that society is going to fall down. And that's why the black community is in turmoil, it's black women. Black women are doing yes, black women have some things they need to work on too. But when a society falls down, nobody says, oh, the women brought that society down. No, you don't hear nobody saying the women brought the Greek society down. You don't hear nobody saying the women brought the Romans down. You don't hear nobody saying the women brought the Egyptians down. You don't hear nobody saying the women brought down the Ethiopians. The women brought down the Mayans. The women brought down the Vikings. You don't hear nobody saying that. When they hear that society gets brought down, they usually think about the men of that society. Am I right? Well, this is the Bunny Ranch. This is the Moonlight Bunny Ranch. It's in Nevada. This is the owner, Dennis Hoff, and it is something that's been available for men to be able to go to Nevada. Now, to me, I don't think it's a good idea to directly pay for sex. I don't think that's a good idea. But I'm not no prude either. I understand people have urges and needs, and they're gonna do what they're gonna do to whatever, get their needs, get that back scratched. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. However, we in the black community, our men and our families are so effed up. Our families are so effed up, man, to where that we need more than this. We need more than this. This is not gonna help us by having, because let's multiply it out. If men could just pay for sex, why will they get married? Why will they? And I'm not saying you should get married for the sex only, but I'm saying, why would they get married? Which, it's not just having sex, it's having sex with someone who you can trust. Because that's who you should be having sex with, someone you can trust. You feel like you can trust them, right? Even that's why men pay all this money for these high price escorts, because they can trust that they're going to keep their mouth shut about what's going on behind the scenes, right? Well, even so, if you're going to be in a marriage with someone, you need to be able to trust this person, right? Or a long-term relationship. You need to be able to trust this person. So why, if sex is so readily available and it is the government gets involved with it. First of all, when the government gets involved with something, it usually doesn't go good. It usually doesn't go good for the people long term. But let's say they get involved with it, unless it's driving. They really don't, I mean, you know what I'm saying? The only thing I've ever seen the government get involved with where it actually made a good difference is transportation. Other than that, I haven't really seen them get involved with stuff for the long term and it affected people in a good way. And you can come back and tell me, but education, no. Food and drugs, no. I mean, long term has not helped people. But anyway, that was a whole nother video. Let's get back to the Bunny Ranch. Let's say you have the Bunny Ranch, and now you can have a Bunny Ranch in down here in LA, and you have many of them all over the places. Where they gonna put them? Where do you think they're gonna put these Bunny Ranches, bro? If you go to LA County, where do you think they're gonna put these Bunny Ranches? In Beverly Hills? In Palos Verdes? You know what I mean? Up there in Pacific Palisades, they're gonna put the Bunny Ranch. Malibu, is that where they're gonna put these Bunny Ranches? I don't think so. Now they're gonna be the same places that these strip bars, strip malls, not strip malls, strip clubs are gonna be in, and they're gonna have the same issues that those places have, and usually probably gonna be in a black community, lower income community, which is usually a black community, right? If they make it, I mean, that's just one issue. Then other issues is, man, you have to explain a lot of that stuff to your children. See, we as black people, man, we're not looking at how our children. See, a lot of times in the Caucasian community, because this stuff is not right down the street from them, they really don't have to explain this kind of stuff to their children early. But you got to explain people buying and selling crack, prostitution. We got to explain that stuff to our children early, way before we should even, they should understand what's going on. They see this stuff going on, so we have to address it. Now you're going to have to address more stuff because they're going to put this stuff in our community. I mean, let's be real. They're not going to put this stuff in Beverly Hills. They're not going to put this stuff in Santa Monica. They're going to put this stuff down here. We're just being real with it. And it's going to be more issues that we're going to have to deal with. We being black people, we're going to have to deal with. Just being honest with you. So I don't think people are looking at it from the family dynamic of it. I'm looking at it from the black family dynamic. I disagree vehemently with it, not because I'm a prude. Hey, do what you want, but I don't think it's going to help our communities. I don't think it's going to help. Because if men can pay directly, there is no reason why anybody should try to build families. There's no reason why. Unless are you culturally bound? And we are showing that we're not culturally bound to do anything except, hey, bag and tag as many women as possible, right? Because that's what's being pushed out here. Anybody that comes out here saying, hey, marriage is something that they call you a simp or this or that. But the people that's pushing marriage are the ones pushing to try to save the black community and get it somewhere. Right? Get it to go somewhere. I mean, but how do you get these men to realize that life is more than just having sex? You're not somebody because you can have sex with a bunch of different women. Anybody with a couple of dollars in their pocket and a place to lay down can have sex with a woman. It's not that hard. It's not hard at all, really. So with that being said, what is the benefit the only benefit I see to legalizing sex workers are, if you're going to be able to find a way to tax it, and then you're going to have, you're going to kill the nightclub industry. You're going to kill it. That industry is dead. If you say, if they legalize prostitution, especially in California, the nightclub industry is going to be dead. The only people who are going to go to the nightclubs are going to be probably gay men and gay women. The heterosexual nightclub industry is dead. Forget it. And families are going to be more and more. There's going to be less men trying to. It might keep some men in their home, but most men are not even going to start a family because why? What's the point? What is the point? If you can get sex anywhere, why start a family? I mean, why even do it? Here's the thing. Sex and responsibility were supposed to go together. They're supposed to be on the same card. You wasn't supposed to just have sex without the responsibility. But America has found a way to rip responsibility away from sex. Take the responsibility away from it. See, there's a responsibility. Minister Farrakhan taught us that when you having sex with a woman, you saying a prayer. You saying a prayer. He said that's actually a prayer. He said, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. He said, you actually saying a prayer to God to make a man in your image and after your likeness. Right? You ain't using your mouth to do it. You using your activity to say that prayer, right? And you following through with the setup that God gave you to make that prayer happen, right? But that's why responsibility was supposed to go with sex. But in America, not just America, but I'm saying America in particular, because I live here, we found a way to rip responsibility away from the sex, right? 70s, free sex and all of this stuff came out. So it ripped the responsibility away. So now everybody's looking for a way to have sex minus the responsibility. So you're supposed to be having sex with somebody who you can exercise responsibility with. You can't exercise responsibility with an employed person that's just having sex with you. And they looking at it like it's just a job. I know. But see, ain't nobody teaching. Not nobody. It's difficult because not a lot of places where we get taught to be men. And when people try to teach us how to be men, we don't want to learn how to be men, at least black men. A lot of times we don't want to be put on the spot and say, I have to be a man. I have to be responsible. I don't want to be responsible. That's why most black men they encourage a lot of times the woman to keep the children. Why? If in a breakup of the relationship. Why? Because they want to be free to be out here bagging and tagging more chicks. Why? Because there ain't no responsibility. There ain't no responsibility. Yeah, so there's a lesson out there. And the lesson says, he likes the devil because the devil gives him nothing. Why? Because there's no responsibility. The devil doesn't give him no responsibility. Him who? Him. The meek one, the one that has been taken advantage of. The powerful one has taken advantage of the weak one, and the weak one loves the powerful one because the powerful one gives him, the weak one, no responsibilities. You can have sex with no responsibility. It's like when you was a slave. You could have as much sex with many women as you want to because those children, you weren't going to be responsible for those children financially. You just going to be responsible for how many pieces of corn you can grab and how much cotton you can pick and how much tobacco you can pick. That's it. That's all you was responsible for. And if you in South America, how much sugar and how much bananas you can pick, right? You in the Caribbean. So this is what I'm saying. This is how you got taught to be irresponsible when it came to sex. Now we got to put shit back in the horse and get you to be responsible with your sexual behavior again. And this to me is not responsible behavior. Oh man, you don't know. You ain't out here, man. Brother got needs. I know you got needs, brother. I can't tell you to not do this. What I can tell you that it's not a good situation to do it. That's all I can say to you. I can't judge you because when the demons had me, I was crazy. When the demons had me, I was really crazy. So I'm not one to judge anyone. I'm just a person afraid of demons at this point and able to say to you, I see what we're doing, and what we're doing is not good. We have put ourselves in a position where responsibility is removed from the sexual experience, and that is why we have our that is one major reason why the black community is in the situation it's in my opinion. Well, I know there's people like, I'm not gonna say no YouTubers' names, but there's major YouTubers that say F the black community. You may say that. Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is you were taught how to be a pimp. You was taught how to pimp. You was taught how to mistreat your women. You was taught how to, and now you black man, you revel in that. You consider yourself manly if you can disrespect your own woman and be irresponsible by having multiple children by multiple women and not putting a dime into it. You would champion the fact of not paying your child support, even though you got all these children. You say, hey, I'm good. I ain't paying no child support. And you think that's a good thing that you're not taking care of your children. See, responsibility has been removed from the experience for you. And I'm telling you, I disagree with making sex workers, making that legal. I disagree with it. But hey, you can do what you want. I'm not telling you I'm just saying it's not going to work out good. It's only going to be a bad experience. It's only going to worsen the experience for us in the black community with our boots on the ground. Because where you think they're going to, if they legalize it, you think white people are going to have prostitutes walking around Beverly Hills? You think they're going to be having prostitutes walking around Pacific Palisades? You think they're going to be having prostitutes, or they're going to have prostitutes walking around Compton, LA, Watts, the East Side, over off of Soto, East LA, York, Lincoln Heights. I mean, where they gonna have this shit happen? It's not gonna happen. They're not gonna have it happening, in Rancho Palos Verdes, Torrance. They're not gonna have this stuff happening up there. How do you think the word honky came into existence? Where do you think the word honky came from? Huh? You ever heard black person, older black people calling George Jefferson, somebody calling a white person a honky? Where do you think the word honky comes from? Because they had in Detroit, Chicago, they had black areas in Detroit and Chicago and other cities, New York, LA, other cities where white people would go into this, white men would go into they made sure that they could have these type of areas where they could get to have sex with sex workers. They could get sex workers, but they didn't want to get out the car. So they would pull at these places and they would just honk the horn. People lived in the areas, and so they knew there were them honkies down there because they honking the horn all the time. You trying to teach your children stuff, and he's got these sex workers working by close to your living abode. But you at a certain time of evening, white men would come into the neighborhood honking their horns because they didn't want to get out of the car to get the prostitutes to come over to their car. That's how they got the name honkies. It's gonna be the same thing, man. They're gonna come over in the black areas and they're gonna start honking their horns. But this time it'll be not only white people, but it'll be black people too, who don't live in those areas, coming by honking their horns to get the prostitutes to come over to their car. Gonna create a disturbance. I say no, but I'm willing to talk to anybody and debate anybody on it, even KS, my homeboy. That's my dude, but I'm willing to debate him on it because I don't agree with the fact that this is one thing I disagree with KS on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm usually spot on with him, but this one I disagree with. I disagree. Young men have to learn how to put responsibility back into the situation. And you just got to be more responsible in terms of finding somebody to have a sexual encounter with. You just got to be more responsible with it. That's my feeling. Oh, you just saying that because you married. Yeah, I am married, but I'm not saying it just because of that. I'm saying it's because of your safety. And just because you got the money to do it, don't mean you should do it. Right? Like, remember Michael Jackson dangling his son off the rail? Just because you can do something, don't mean you should do it. Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think, man. I don't think that it's going to be a good move for black men if this stuff is for the black family. If sex workers are legalized, I don't think that's going to be a good move for the black family and black men in particular. I just don't see a good situation happening here. I think a better situation is for you to take the time to learn how to find somebody who you can trust and be in a relationship with. And then if you can trust them, talk to them, they respect you, you respect them, maybe you can start putting sex on the table as far as something that you can participate in together. But until then, please, brothers, try to put the responsibility back. Sex always had responsibility with it. That's the way God gave it to us. God gave it to us. It was a 2-package deal. It was sex plus the responsibility. America and other societies have ripped the responsibility out of sex, try to rip them apart and make them two different things. And that's how come we're in the situation we're in now. Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think. Anyway, never be the aggressor, brother. Never be the aggressor.